Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we have this 2023 Subaru Ascent and we're going to do the side door chrome delete installation for this vehicle. So as you can see, this is how it looks before doing the installation on the side panels, and this is how it looks after the installation. So we use the gloss black material in order to black out the side trim. Link for the product will be provided below, but with that being said, let's get started with the installation video. So before we start with the installation, we need to make sure we prep the panel. So all we need is water and baby shampoo mixed together in a spray bottle. Once you have your solution, spray it onto a clean microfiber towel and remove any contaminants that the side panels may have. And then once you're done prepping each panel, make sure that everything's completely dry. That way the adhesive on the film is able to tack down to the panel. So once you finish prepping the panel, now we can start with the installation. So we're going to start by laying the film right on the edge, making sure that everything has coverage. So just like this, and cover everything. So you could have it right on the edge, like how you see here, and everything should just fall into place. Just as long as you're covering the chrome, you should be good. All we need to focus now is remove any air that's underneath the film, and then we'll apply heat and then trim off any excess material around the edges. So just apply heat around the curve here to help it tack down, and then apply heat around this curve as well. Once you apply heat, grab your squeegee, start tacking everything down. Make sure the chrome's being covered. Tack down everything, and then once we're done, we'll trim off the excess material. For this one, if you have excess material on the top section here, just be careful when you enter your blade. There's just a small gap of where you could enter your blade and trim off the excess material like this. So just be careful, trim it off, pick out the excess material, and it should be like this. No chrome showing, so just follow that outline and you should be good. And do it throughout the rest of the panel. Remove the excess material, and after this is done, we can move on with the next piece. Okay, so now that we finished this piece, now we can move on with the next panel. Just place the film onto the chrome. That way it doesn't get any contaminants if it touches somewhere else. And start off by aligning the film right on the edge here. Once you place the film, go ahead and just start aligning it, and you could use the lower half as the guide in order to align the rest of the film. Lift the film and then just finish off the alignment. Once you finish placing the film, grab your squeegee, start tagging everything down, remove all of the air, and then we'll apply heat to help the film start molding to the design of the panel, and then we'll trim off any excess material afterwards. Okay, so once you finish tagging down the flat area, make sure to help it tack down on the top section here. Help it tack down with your squeegee, and then any excess material we do have, we could trim it off afterwards, but first we just need to make sure the whole chrome is being covered on top. And then if you happen to have excess material in the bottom section, you could tuck in the film, but make sure you have your window down. That way we're able to move the rubber gasket just a little bit down and be able to tuck it in underneath. So before we trim off any excess material, apply heat. That way we help the adhesive activate faster, and then we'll trim off. Okay, and now we could trim off any extra material. So for example here, create a small little outline with your finger. That way you're able to trace where we don't need the excess material. So just carefully trim off, take your time until you reach it to this end right here. This part should be here, and trim. And then if you have excess material on the edge, trim it off as well. And don't forget to trim off the excess material on this edge. And if you have excess material on top, there is a small gap in between the chrome panel and the rubber gasket. Just find that gap, insert your blade. So for example here, we have a little bit of excess material. You just trim it off carefully. Lift the excess material away from the chrome, lift it away, and just remove what we don't need. So you would do that to the rest of the panel, and then once you're done, we will apply heat to help seal the edges that were trimmed off. And the same steps that were done for this one, you will repeat it for the top rear one, and then we can move on with the next one. Okay, so with this one, just start off by aligning it right on the edge. So place the film on the chrome. That way you can focus on this area, align it here, you could align it right on the edge where the plastic trim is located. Just make sure the whole chrome is being covered. And then once you align it here, use the lower half as the guide to align the rest of the film. So place it and just finish it off throughout the rest of the panel here. So once you finish placing the film, grab your squeegee and start tacking everything down. Just help it tack down on the top. Remove any air that may be underneath the film. Take your time tacking it on top. And then once we finish tacking down everything, we're going to apply heat to help the film start molding to the design of the panel. So grab your heat gun, apply heat, and then we'll trim off any excess material. So once you finish applying heat, start creating an outline of where you're going to trim off the excess material. So if you notice with the panel that we're working on, the chrome ends roughly around here because the rubber gasket is right here. So you just follow that line, create the outline. And with this one, you could insert your blade like this and trim off the excess material. You just have to be careful. So just apply your blade right on the edge and just carefully follow through with the rest. You don't have to apply too much pressure. Take your time. That way you don't accidentally scratch the chrome, and just follow through. And then just slowly start peeling it off little by little so you could see everything getting trimmed off. So just like this, and then just finish off with the rest. So you can leave that there, but just finish off with the rest. Make sure to trim off the excess material here. And once you finish trimming off the excess material, apply heat to finish everything off. And like I mentioned earlier, the same steps that were done for the top section of the door and this bottom section, you would just repeat the same process for the rear door. Okay, so now we're moving on to the quarter window section. The quarter window, it's a two-piece installation since there is a cutout right here. So there's one piece for this section and another piece for the lower section. So with this one, place the film on the chrome, that way it doesn't fall off. And just make sure you align this section of the film right on the edge here. Make sure the chrome's being covered and just slowly help it tack down as you're covering the chrome. And then everything else should fall into place. Just make sure you keep everything aligned. Follow through with the design until you reach to the other end. Make sure all of the chrome's being covered, and if you need to lift the film and readjust it to remove like this deep finger here, you can. Just make sure that the chrome is being covered. So just like that, and everything's still being covered on this side, underneath, and on the edge here. It should be good. So now just grab your squeegee, same procedure. Remove all of the bubbles that are underneath the film. Make sure you help tuck in underneath here to cover the chrome. And for this curve here, just apply a little bit of heat just to help the film lose the tension, and that will help it also be able to tack down on the curve. And also here, apply heat. So just grab your heat gun, start applying heat around the curve. Help it tack down little by little. You only need a little bit of heat. And then apply heat on the curve here. And then just start applying heat throughout the entire panel. That way we help the film start molding to the design of the panel. The same steps when it comes to trimming as how we did it for the small front piece. You would do it here. There's a small gap, follow that gap, enter your blade, and just carefully trim off the excess material. Peel it off, and the chrome should still be covered, as you can see. And then just peel everything off. And then just continue on throughout the rest of the panel on the top, the lower section here if you have excess material, and then also here if you have excess material. And don't forget about the edge. And then once you're done trimming off the excess material, we can apply heat to start sealing the edges that were trimmed off. And then once that's done, we'll move on to this piece. Okay, so for this last one, you want to start by aligning it right on this edge first. That way, whatever excess material you have, you can just trim it off on this end. So align it right on the edge, make sure the chrome's being covered, and just use the lower half as the guide in order to align the rest of the film. So just carefully align it, follow through, and you should reach it up to the bottom edge here. Same procedure now, grab your squeegee, start securing the entire film, and then we'll apply heat and then trim off excess material. This one's pretty simple, straightforward, no curves, that's pretty much it. And then once we finish trimming, applying heat, and all that good stuff on this section, the last step is to post heat the entire panel. So the last thing to do once you finish with the entire side installation for the chrome panel is to post heat everything. So just make sure you apply heat evenly throughout each panel that was installed. You could use either the highest setting or the lowest setting. Just be careful if you do use the highest setting not to get too close to the film because you might accidentally burn it. Make sure you just go evenly throughout each panel. Take your time doing this step, and then once you're done with this process, you're done with the installation. Thank you for choosing Bogar Tech Design. As a small business, your support means everything to us. If you loved your product, please drop a review. If you have questions or issues, don't forget to message us via email. Once again, thank you so much for the support from our family to yours. So that concludes the installation video for the side chrome delete installation for the 2023 Subaru Ascent. We hope that the video helped you guys out with the installation. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification bell. That way you don't miss any of our upcoming installation videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.